It's very, very nice, yeah. Huh? Oh, no. From Vilnius, I'm staying.
So yeah, I was surprised that the second term quite conference. I thought they forgot about it or because they reached it like at the beginning of the year and then they confirmed like 3 days and I realized I was not because I had to work with the but it fitted perfectly and I was like, okay, let's try to go there and it was amazing. I'm hoping to get more of those there. Not the same, in the region where I have been working in Spain and Italian, Portuguese and totally different audience. So it was very interesting for me as an experience and to get to know all the people, but they were very happy with my intervention. So
oh, that's good. And I bet that there were a lot of like inspiring people as well.
Yeah.
To meet and expand.
Before me, before I was going to talk, there was the chief engineering officer from Buelvas.
Oh, that is amazing. That is
yes.
They've grown so much. They've grown so much.
No, and the representation was also very interesting about imposter syndrome and from the perspective of a technical person in her field, how to build an environment in the startups and pushing people. Now you know that here different landscape. This one was like digital technology, information, and AI.
Every year when there are those job exhibitions, what difference holds from almost every project. Like the most visited place is Vinted, like because you can actually make your own T-shirt. So they have like how would you say secondhand T-shirts, and you can actually print something on them, And like their exhibition place is always buzzing with people. So this is what I remember really, really well. We went, I think 2 years ago there, so that was the most memorable stand of the exhibition.
Yeah, the presentation was really inspiring. I mean, everything was very short, so that was like around 15 to 20 minutes. So everything it felt really fast. Like at the time passed in the morning, in the evening, and it was only until 4 p.m. Like very line. It was very good, and we also had an app. So I made a lot of contacts also for business and also for trainings and all that with Latvian companies, the Chamber of Commerce there. It was very like straight to the point. So I really liked it because I don't need to go one day. It was 2 days, it was 9 or 10. But on the 9 I had some training with a technological company at home online, so I couldn't attend. But we made the most of it. Kamuka was there
supporting you as well. So that's nice.
Yeah, the best spot he was just observing.
He was, in the first seat, making the recordings and
I was about to ask if he was working properly as an operator, making those pictures.
He made really good photos. That's besides that, I feel a lot of that team. Being there, sitting in the front.
Yeah, that's why I'm here, so that Thomas would be at peace.
It is important. It's important to have a familiar face that you can secure, like that and control. It was good. He was kind of like after everything finished, and there was people coming to say like they were surprised by some of the statistics that I shown, and they were like, "Oh my God, I am Latvian, I didn't hear that." They were really good.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. Both to those joining us at Šiaulių valstybinė kolegija here in physical mode, and to our participants connecting from across all Europe, starting with Spain and ending with Sweden. So my name is Gina, for those who don't know me. I'm working with the NEOLAiA Alliance, our European University Alliance, and I'm working with the Communication and Dissemination Work Package. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this special hybrid event marking the launch of the new cycle of NEOLAiA Focus Academy series, beginning today with its very first course in the academic year, Global Competences and Multicultural Identity. This course is jointly organized by Šiaulių valstybinė kolegija, University of Salerno in Italy, and also Stefan Mare University of Suceava in Romania. All three universities part of NEOLAiA European University Alliance. So today's session started with the NEOLAiA info session, where attendees were able to find more details about the work packages and what we are doing here. And now it is time for a TED Talk style format, meaning short, inspiring talks from people who live and lead in the interconnected world. Before we meet our speakers, let's take a moment to reflect on who we are as an alliance and why global competences matter more than ever. So, NEOLAiA, for those who don't know, means youth in Greek. It is a vibrant alliance of 9 higher education institutions from 9 different countries, starting with Spain, Germany, Italy, Sweden, Czechia, Romania, of course Lithuania, as we are here, Romania, Cyprus, and also beyond the European border as the associated partners. So we are working together to create a shared space for education, innovation, and inclusion. 3 topics that are very important in nowadays life. To empower our students, academics, and communities to thrive in globalized world through cooperation, diversity, and lifelong learning. Through NEOLAiA, we promote mobility, joint learning, intercultural understanding, and the development of global competences. The knowledge, skills, and attitudes that help us collaborate across cultures and respond to global challenges with empathy and creativity. And that mission continues today through an initiative, the NEOLAiA Focus Academy. I hope this is not the first time as you hear about it. If it's the first time, then we will continue informing you throughout the whole academic year. So, the Focus Academy itself is a new series of short, focused learning experiences designed for students and staff across NEOLAiA partner universities. Each course highlights our essential theme for our future such as sustainability, digital transformation, diversity, and global citizenship. So today's launch course is Global Competences and Multicultural Identity, as you can see on the screen. And it invites us to think about how we connect, communicate, and collaborate in a world that is wonderfully diverse. And we are honored to invite 3 inspired speakers from different personal backgrounds, public leadership, business, and higher education, and each of them will offer a unique perspective on what it means to live and work globally. So the first one will be Justinas, Švėgžda, Vice Mayor of Šiauliai City, and he will open our session. He, as a local leader and advocate for international cooperation, will speak about how cities like Šiauliai are fostering openness, cultural diversity, and also global connections at the community level. Please welcome Justinas.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me clear?
Yes.
That's great. Then I'm not entirely sure, but maybe I need some IT support in order to change the slides, right? Okay. I might do it on my own, actually. Cool. Because when we talk about global competences, I should be capable of turning on a PowerPoint, right? Okay, so I was offered to give a presentation on a really broad topic that I needed to specify a little bit, and my presentation takes a bit of a different angle and aims to show you and in the spirit of NEOLAiA Alliance, how the cities from the regions attempt to attract young professionals, attempt to integrate them into labor market, and attempt to avoid, as much as possible, the well-known phenomenon called the brain drain. So we will talk about the city of Šiauliai as the city of the sun and integration of young professionals into the labor market. And I was really fortunate back in my childhood to have really honest and really strict teachers. And they told me one thing, that one has to know something before teaching others. So there is a very specific topic that I feel, or I relatively am an expert, and that is public management. So I just wanted to say, and without sounding arrogant or egocentric or someone who wants to brag about the achievements, I just wanted to say that my presentation will center around public management and what we do in the global setting as a regional city to make sure that we grow, to make sure that we flourish, and to make sure that the future of the city is ensured. So I'm really proud to call myself the youngest vice mayor in the country from 2023 to 2024. And now there is one better and smarter and younger than me in another municipality. But at least for a year, I enjoyed that status. And I've already spent 1/3 of my life working at the municipality. I began working for the mayor when I was 19. Right now I'm 29 years old, so that's even more than 1/3 of my life, if my math is correct. And I'm also the first and only elected politician in the history of the city to be born in independent Lithuania and not in Soviet Union occupied Lithuania, meaning I was born after 90s, to be specific, in 1996. And I'm the only vice mayor of the city right now, even though in accordance to the municipal law of Lithuania, we should have 3. So efficiency is the key for our local government. And that is why I will only talk about the local government, but in relation to the competences that we promote in order to attract young talents like the majority of you gathered over here. It's very plain and simple. Why is it important? Economic growth and rapidly increasing wages, that is also highly related to the young talent that you have. Lower youth outmigration. Outmigration means a really simple thing. It's young people leaving the city for better or presumably better opportunities. Labor market renewal. We all know that we need a really smooth generational shifts between the current labor force and the upcoming labor force, and the demographic balance and urban vitality. Probably not many people know, but we have really terrible situation when it comes to the demographic. Spain is the only country that has a worse demographic situation than Lithuania right now, but we are the second worst. And that is why it's also really important to stick with the young people and make sure that they have all the opportunities over here, so they could build their families over here and create their futures. And city branding and attractiveness, that is also a really strong aspect that is directly related to the young labor force. And that is what we do. And we do a lot of things. As a tiny city, we do quite a few, and we carry out quite a few operations to make sure that the young people have their voices heard and they think carefully about their future over here in the city of the sun. So the first thing that we do, and I do as a deputy mayor, I travel around the schools of Lithuania. Actually, I managed to travel all the way to the Belarus border. This year, even customs stopped me at the border, asking what I'm doing there. Because I go to Ignalina, Utena, Zarasai, and I know that for international community, these names don't mean a lot. But the thing is that these are the more remote areas or remote regions of the country, and I promote the city of Šiauliai as the regional capital for academia, for better employment opportunities. And of course, in addition to that, we have to listen to the voices of the young people and offer studentship housing, and municipality issues student grants for students that stay over here in the city. And also we have financial support for young professionals. This is also adds to the international aspect to it, because we offer, as a city, fourth biggest city in Lithuania, we offer really generous financial incentives to join the city, and these also apply for international people choosing the city of Šiauliai. It's not only for Lithuania, it's not only for the citizens of Šiauliai, but for everyone. And there are more than 112 different professions that are on the list, meaning that you can be a bioengineer, electric engineer, or a psychologist, or a personal coach, and you will be eligible for this financial support by the municipality. We have the lowest real estate prices in the city, and we also provide 10 different means or ways to assist in anyone who wants to establish business here in the city of Šiauliai. So the municipality supports all efforts, basically from the fees of registration of a new company, all the way to the Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok ads, if that is needed. So we assist our young future business people in the early stages of this endeavor. We also market ourselves as the only 15 minutes city in Lithuania. And that is also highly supported by the statistics. This is in Lithuanian on the right, but I will make sure to translate it. This says a very simple thing. And that is really important for the global community, because we talk about the eco-friendliness, about the compactability of the city, about the city being attractive for various transportation, various means of transportation. And the thing is that just a couple of weeks ago, the city of Šiauliai was awarded as the only 15-minute city in the country of Lithuania. And we are right now the #2 best city in the entire Eastern and Central Europe, as 41% of our citizens reach any of their desired destinations within a span of 15 minutes. We also have a shared budget, and are the only municipality that has a shared budget together with higher education institutions as well as vocational training center. And we work on the branding of the city as an academic center. And this has been a great source of success. And also, this is, of course, a huge thanks to the business. We can brag and boast and shout out loud that for the last 15 years, we also have the lowest unemployment rate in Lithuania among all of the cities. And it's insane how wide is the gap. This is how we look like right now. So this is the statistics where it is the best thing to be as low as possible, and as low as possible is the city of Šiauliai. This is the unemployment rate of the young people. So basically, if you have a regional city as Šiauliai, you might have false assumptions that it is always better to move to Vilnius, to Kaunas, or to Klaipėda, but that is a false assumption. And it is false because it is incorrect. And the thing is that Kaunas is our capital of youth unemployment right now. Vilnius is also close over there, and Šiauliai has two times lower unemployment rate than Kaunas does, meaning that the young people have the best opportunities to be employed in the entire country. And that is, of course, thanks to our successful and resilient businesses. And this is what is really important, how we aim to attract and what we do as a city to be attractive. You can see the northern part of Lithuania, and there is only one green place, and that is the city of Šiauliai. This map can be interpreted very straightforward. And this basically illustrates the places in Lithuania where there are the best places to live at and the worst places to live at. So the greener you are, the better you are off. The red color means that you are doing many things wrong and that you are a really bad place to live at. And the city of Šiauliai is the only green place remaining in the northern Lithuania. And that is what we try to stick to, because our closest city in terms of population, called Panevėžys, they are already behind us big time. And that is one of the ways we analyze our level of attractiveness. And this is this takes into consideration education, healthcare, demographics, the economic vitality, and many other aspects. So we are very proud to be among the top 5 municipalities out of 60 in Lithuania as the best places to live at. And the thing is that we have not only the lowest unemployment rate, but as a regional city, which is really important for NEOLAiA, we are the fastest growing city in Lithuania for the last 5 years. 4 years that was prior, now it's the 5th year that we entered since July. And we have passed Vilnius, we have passed Kaunas, we have passed Klaipėda, and we have passed all of the other 56 municipalities. And the city has grown by 11,000 citizens in the span of only 5 years, which is a really great achievement. We have a 3-fold increase in the foreign direct investment since 2018, and we have managed, or the businesses have managed, to increase the average wage more than 3 times here in the city, which also stands as a really attractive indicator of the growth of the city. And now we have passed the psychological barrier. Before that, we used to say that, okay, the average wage in Šiauliai is 1.9 thousand, 1.8 thousand, and now we can probably say that it's more than 2,000, which is a really high improvement. The thing is that we have managed also to take a good care of the public money. And this is probably the best illustration of the success of our municipality that we have experienced. When I began working at the municipality, that was in 2016, we had a budget of around 90 million euros. Now, just in the span of 10 years, we have managed to increase it 4 times, all the way to the 323 million euros a year, meaning that we take a good care of public administration. And foreign direct investment has also increased since 2016 more than threefold, as we work extensively with international partners, with international organizations, of course, with the embassies that serve in Vilnius. And this is where we stand right now. As the 4th biggest city, as the city that is growing the fastest, as the city that has the lowest unemployment, as the city that has the lowest real estate prices, as the city that is increasing its number of students really rapidly. And this is a photo of competitors, actually, but we don't have competitors here in Šiauliai. We are all partners, and this is a photo of Vilnius University Šiauliai Academy just last week. We have more than 4.8 thousand students. And what is the most important statistics, at least for me, or the statistics that show that we are taking the right direction right now, is that the city of Šiauliai is getting younger the fastest in the entire country. The median age of a local citizen here in Šiauliai 5 years ago was 46 years old, meaning that half of the population is younger than 46, and half of the population is older than 46. And now we stand at the number 43. So this means a very simple thing. Just in 5 years, so many young people, students, young families, professionals arrived to the city that the local population got 3 years younger on average, while the other major cities were standing still or going backwards, like Panevėžys, which has a median age of 50. So the closest city to us is actually on average 7 years older than we are. And that is, I think, a really good indication. We also have the lowest real estate prices, as mentioned, and even the highest price in Šiauliai is lower than the lowest price in Vilnius. That is what makes the city of Šiauliai attractive. And the thing is that infrastructural investments have allowed us to be really competitive in many regards. And I have 3 more minutes. That is why I wanted to say a really simple motive. Because when I entered the Šiauliai city municipality, we had a strategic plan for 10 years. Every single municipality has a strategic plan for 10 years. And for the plan of 2014 to 2025, it was predicted that there will be only 81,000 citizens in Šiauliai by the year 2025. So in accordance to the predictions of 2015, we were supposed to have 30,000 fewer citizens than we have at this very moment. And 30,000 citizens itself would be the 10th biggest city in Lithuania. So we managed to somehow, some way, together with businesses, together with academia, reject or deny the predictions made by the experts of the field by a really significant margin. And today, why is Benjamin Button so relevant for us? Because you probably know the movie Curious Case of Benjamin Button with Brad Pitt. And the moral is really simple. He was born as an old person, and then he turned younger and younger, and by the age of 80, he was a toddler. And this is how we see the city of Šiauliai, and also Lithuania in many regards, is that by the 2000s, we were a really worn-out country. The infrastructure was in terrible condition. The people were lacking motivation, and everything was collapsing and breaking apart. And since 2015, 2018, everything has changed. And when I say everything, I mean the course has been reversed. In 2008, 2009, 2010, we had thousands of people leaving the city of Šiauliai, the country of Lithuania. And now, for the last 5 years, for the last 6 years, there hasn't been a single month where more people would leave the country than come back from it. This year alone, 765 Lithuanians came back from abroad, and around 300 left. So that means 400 additional Lithuanian citizens in a single year. And that is what makes us the fastest growing city in Lithuania, together with our capability of integrating the international community. So we believe, as a city that is getting younger the fastest, that we might as well turn into Benjamin Button by 2080. This is probably the mission that we are striving for. And right now, when people have this belief in the city of Šiauliai, they are utterly wrong about it, because most of the cases we just don't know the surrounding reality. And that is probably the most important aspect for anyone who is a student, anyone who is keen in learning, because not many people know that it is 2 times more probable that you will find a job here in Šiauliai rather than in Kaunas. Not many people know that the city of Šiauliai has passed the capital city when it comes to the growth of the city. Not many, or probably no one, knows that we are on average the same age as the local population in Kaunas and Klaipėda, because we call them the young municipalities, but we are the same. It is just our disbelief in the city that probably has had a really significant effect. So my only morale is believe in your city, believe in your country by relying on objective sources. And I think there is no better place to state it rather than the institution of higher education, because you are the people who create the objective understanding of the surrounding reality, and subjectivity sucks. So that is why you have to rely on facts and figures, because this will make your life way easier and way more optimistic. So stay positive, and thank you very much. Šiauliai shines. Thank you. 17 minutes. As promised.
Very insightful speech. So for openness and also information about the city. Now I would like to invite our next guest. He is the CEO of INTUS company, a global technology company, and Tomas Vonžodas, will share his insights on the skills and mindsets of young professionals who need to succeed in globalized economy, and how innovation and cultural understanding go hand in hand. So please welcome Thomas.
Hello, everyone. Get slides. All right, so part of the politics, now part of the business, but actually we are collaborating for the same purpose. And I chose the topic today to talk about skills and competences, of course, needed, because we had very interesting story in our company. And to understand the context from where I'm coming from and who we are, some of you may know, some of you might not know. We are a local business. Here we have a manufacturing facility, but actually we export everything to the United States. And the company was started around 7 years ago by one person here in Lithuania. And from that day, almost 6 years in a row, we grew 30%. So what does it mean? It means that you need to change your processes, you need to change your mindset, you need to learn a lot, you need to find new people, you need to hire a lot of people, a lot of different people you never met or experienced what you need to have. We had to change our mindset. We had to change the mindset which was local. There's not enough resources, there's not enough competent people, it's not enough for professionals here in Šiauliai, it's too small city, you won't be able to scale. Well, actually, we asked the question, why we are searching for specific talent when we can start building it? Because what, universities, colleges do, they build people for specific labor forces we need. So we took a bit different approach. Of course, we hired the top talent, but once you need to hire 20, 30, 50, hundreds of people, you start thinking about how you can multiply the talent which you currently have. And maybe it's enough for one individual who can help to succeed for others. So we built our internal university. And what I mean about that is we started thinking how we can help for anyone in the city to hire, come to our company and grow for our specific needs. So that's where my colleague Leonora comes with INTUS University, with structured onboarding plans in each position we have, with role-specific trainings for engineering, for IT, for whatever we have a need at that time, and for leadership programs. Because once you scale and you hire 500 people in 6 years, you definitely need a lot of leaders. It helped a lot. It helped a lot for specific roles, but it didn't answer the question who actually can be successful. Because we saw the trends that someone succeeds, someone doesn't, everyone gets the best of the best of the best, but it's not equal result. Next question. So what makes people succeed? And I personally unpacked 3 skills or competences, which I think describes me the people growth in our company. And why I'm saying that, because I was the one which represented these values and these competences, because I grew from very individual, almost after studies, becoming just a quote estimator, preparator, to the company managing director. And I think first, what I would like to split is ask good questions and be curious. So this competence, not only be curious, but be curious with the purpose, leads to very deep answers. We all know that 4-year-old child can ask 400 questions a day. Out of those 400 questions, probably 380 is just random questions to annoy you, and 20 questions are that you stop and like, okay, what I need to do now, how I need to respond it correctly. So these kind of questions leads to progression. These kind of questions leads to innovation. These kind of questions actually leads to becoming better. And I learned one very good question when the colleague says, we did it always, it doesn't work. We tried it, no, it's not the way to go. Well, but ask them, if it were possible, how would you do it? These kind of questions leads to the progression. Sorry. Second part. So once you're curious enough, of course you encounter, like, you are scared because you find what you don't understand, you don't know how to act, you may be doubtful of your skills in that area, but you need to make a decision because time is ticking. Business is not stopping, time is ticking. Everyone moves fast as hell. So you need to learn to make a good decision with limited information as fast as possible. Why? Because business never sleeps. Your competition never sleeps. Progression happens only if you make decisions fast. And of course, in our case, we have a lot of engineers, we have a lot of structured people, detailed people. They like granular things, they want to do everything in perfection. But perfection is the biggest enemy, because if you try to perfect it, you never achieve the outcome. And maybe you won't get a chance to present your opinion because it's already too late. So courage and decision making basically is one of the key areas which leads to the third part, which I separate, is adaptability. Because if you are curious enough, you will find a lot of unknown. But if you will have courage to learn, make decisions, make conclusions, and progress, ultimately you will adapt to the situation, whatever life throws to you. And it might be, as in our case, we started with COVID, we moved with war, and then Trump tariffs came, all fun facts. But we adapt fast, we just think critically, we make good decisions, and we're here, we are still in business. So every challenge strengthens your confidence. And once you repeat that cycle, the cycle becomes your natural form, because you know that you can adapt, because you know that you will ask good questions, which leads to good decisions. You will make good decisions fast, and you will become successful. and you will adapt to the situation, whatever life throws to you. So all skills are valuable, and all the competences you gain in whatever you study is definitely valuable. And it's your future. You can do whatever you want. But because the future is uncertain, as I have in my note, we must equip ourselves with the competences and skills which won't be replaceable by the time and won't be replaceable by the surroundings of our city, environment, or company. And I would recommend to follow the circle. This circle is only my perspective, but I think if you are curious enough, you will go, you will have confidence, you will make good decisions, you will adapt to the situation, and you can spin that wheel as much as you want. And that's the way how you can succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. I think it was a very useful presentation and speech that we can all learn from. And next up, I would like to invite my colleague, Tatiana, who is going to be as the representative of NEOLAiA Alliance. So, Tatiana, Buelvas, Baldiris. Okay, so all good? Okay, so thank you again for having me around. I am a doctor in gender studies, and that's how I landed in a collaboration with the Šiaulių valstybinė kolegija. I am now living and part-time also working here in this institution, collaborating in the NEOLAiA Alliance, and I have learned so much from the colleagues from all over the European network in how to build, you know, the skills and the connection between academia, government, and market labor, so that all our students also have or can see, foresee a bright future for themselves. After all, that's what all we want, right? We would like to engage with academia so that we can get a knowledge, a specific knowledge to develop something that will become fulfilling for us as human beings in our future. So the topic I will be talking about is quite different from my predecessors, and it's talent without borders and challenge for the future and market labor. While the picture they have left is very hopeful and bright, and mine is not going to be, I will contrast a lot. So I hope it doesn't sound that I'm criticizing, I'm not. It's the facts, by the way, since we are talking about the facts. I started looking at the news. When it's about talent, I would like to know what's out there in the news. What are we researching about when it comes to young talent, especially Gen Z generation, which are most of you here sitting in the room and also here connected listening. And what we can see is that we have here this person with the glasses is the Chief Economic Opportunity Officer from LinkedIn. And he mentions that right now we are finding a problem, no? That young people cannot find jobs. And he's also saying that it's quite contradictory, right? Because the same generation that is having a tough time landing the job is the one that is also AI native, which is something we have mentioned before in the previous presentations, how it is the generational shift changing also the workplaces. We are finding that top management and leadership positions are filled with people from different generations, speaking like millennials, baby boomers, which are around 30-somethings above, right? But then the future generation that is coming up to work is people who are in the 20s, 18, and so on, which is most of you, and how we are trying to connect the dots, to collaborate together, to find in a working place where we can have an integration, yes, and develop assets and products and services for the world. So there is also the European news that is showing us that the high stress and low rewards. This is talking about opinions that has been collected through research, and it's that 72% of the Generation Z says right now that the best way is to focus on personal growth and skill accumulation,
which is also very beneficial for you to continue participating in NEOLAiA networks and activities, because it's all we are trying to do for you, to help you build the skills necessary so that you can continue to evolve into your professional career. Skills as communication, multicultural identity, and many others, entrepreneurship, that are featured in the context of a NEOLAiA framework. So additional to this, something that was shocking to me was that 69% of the Gen Z generation believe that mid-management role have a high stress and low reward levels, which is no motivation for them to actually achieve, to get any ambition into taking higher positions in the, or contributing in the companies they are working with. Which also takes me to another point that is not in the presentation, but I would like to mention. Because last week I was in a conference and I realized there was a real study that is brand new, also talking about European network, what young people think about the market labor right now. And there was this concept of the situationship, that they are saying that we will take on jobs for the money, but we will stay only 6 up to 1 year or even less in the job. Because when we see that the job doesn't reflect our values, doesn't reflect what we would like to continue doing in our career, because also we are facing this idea that we have a perception of ourselves when we get to the first job, right, of what we can do and what not. But then we realize with the passing of the time what we are actually capable of, and maybe sometimes we find very quick that those companies are not the right fit for us. But most of the time it's also because of, in terms of creating a life with dignity, that we will take on jobs based on just for the money for the moment. Meanwhile, basically, that's what they have called the situationship. And this takes me to the next point. Right now, I know that maybe you have seen a lot all over the news that the president of the North American president, they want to be nameless. He is all over the news talking about the DEI is nonsense, that we shouldn't talk about this, that this is something pointless and so on. But it actually affects us all regardless of who we are, the background, the color of our skin, or our gender identity or sexual orientation. It has to do with how we can create a life in which we have well-being. Yes, so diversity, equity, and inclusion is just farther than just quotes or bringing people because of the color of their skin to the workplace or to the academia or to any other space. It has to do with the fact that we can create systemic and transformative ways of doing business. Yeah, before we didn't think about that, we didn't thought too much about this, we were just working on autopilot, but right now we need to consider that all we do has a systemic impact. Because it has an effect on the environment, it has an effect on the people around it, in the surroundings. And so we have seen it with what Justinas just mentioned in his presentation, right? Building an ecosystem between government and the academia and the companies is important, because we create an environment in which people can see themselves living for the future. Not just for right now, the academic environment, but also whenever we would like to have family. And if we foresee a family, how that could be, yes? And to also foresee that we are able to afford a living in those places, and that we can have a life that we consider is successful and with dignity, yeah? So, and now I would like to take to ask you this quick question. Do you treat everyone the same? Your family, your friends? What would you say? No, right? No, even with our family, we have siblings or brothers or sisters that we treat different, because we do have certain deepness in the conversations or reflections that are not necessarily shared by others, right? In that sense, we also can understand diversity, equity, and inclusion with different lens, because equality means that we can make this assumption that everyone needs the same kind of support, right? We can have all in the government access to opportunities for people, right? But what happens when people get to the market labor and they will find, for example, barriers? As we can see, for example, right now in most of the bigger companies, in not only in Lithuania, but in the world, that, for instance, just to mention one barrier could be that there are vacancies out there that are saying that students, that people that come to work in these workplaces needs to come from, I don't know, I would say a random place, like Vilnius University or Kaunas University as the main ones. when there are people who are also forming high talent all over Lithuania or all over the world. It happens here, it happens in Spain. I'm talking to you based on experience because I'm a consultant in this topic, by the way, it's my students here from this class. And the thing is that it doesn't happen only in Lithuania. Yeah, there are big companies out there that are still in the vacancy when they are recruiting. They segment the type of people they would like to call on to work with them. So it's very bright for me to see, for example, that INTUS is taking on talent that, okay, you don't have everything, we can build it, we can help you build it. That's already something that is very valuable that INTUS is already doing for their talent and for the Lithuanian talent coming to work here. So, but when it comes to equity, for instance, we are saying that everyone gets the same support they need. That's called affirmative action. And that also claims on something that we need to give up on our privilege. And who wants to give up on their privilege? Not much people, right? It means that we will need to renounce on some privilege we do have so that other people that are marginalized or oppressed by historic barriers, they will get access to such things. And that often doesn't happen quite a lot, right? So, but equity is something that we are still trying to take in human rights within the workplace as one measure that will help us achieve a middle ground. That's why we started with the quotes, no? Like people were saying, we need to have 50-50, you know, in the leadership of the companies, 50 women, 50 men, so that we can at least introduce in some of the industries some leadership that is female. Yeah, and that was the opening door for what we are seeing right now, that now there are more women that are becoming engineers or technicians and so on in industries that were often more masculinized. And lastly, what we are trying, in fact, to achieve is to have social justice. Social justice means we take down all the barriers and we have access for everyone, regardless of who they are or where they come from. So if you have the talent, you can have access to the job. If you have the talent, you can have access to those resources that will get you to the places where you would like to be in terms of your future, yes, as a talent. So what does it mean this when we translate these abstract concepts to working places, to the companies? It translates to employee well-being in terms of the emotional, physical, social, and financial stability of the person. We are facing right now that 80% of the business executives thinks that these initiatives are critical for their business strategy. This is not something based on my opinion, it's the World Economic Forum Lighthouse Report from 2025. 67% they said expect these efforts to become more important in the coming years. For every company, it looks different. For some companies, it's about generational relevance because they are having a lot of people that are young coming to work at their workplaces, but they don't stay. They don't stay because they struggle working with people that are baby boomers or millennials, because there is not the working culture of collaboration, for instance. But for others, it might be different. So linking DEI to performance outcomes for companies is important so that you can see also that in the future, it is going to be bright for you as a company to hire different or diverse talent, regardless of the position where they are, I mean, geographical position. So that is proven that it will secure leadership throughout the passing of the time. After all, when we bring people from different backgrounds, we also enhance the creativity and the innovation in the team. So that is important for expanding our perspectives. It will help, it is already helping companies to build new products and new services that are more eco-friendly, more with social impact involved, and that definitely will consider the life of the fulfillment of their people as well as part of the equation. And here is some of more of the challenges for the future market labor in Gen Z generation. I thought it would be interesting to have this meme here because it says, these were flexibility, mental well-being, and nice salary would be, if there were any. So what we're finding is that 70% of the Gen Z upskill weekly. They do it because they are curious people, which is already one of the skills that INTUS was just mentioning in their presentation. To do also 76% of them already do it outside workplace. Gen Z considers very important, for example, flexibility, boundaries at work, and also mental health considered as part of the equation when working at any place.
And they are also very purpose driven. So 89% say that the purpose is crucial to connect with the job satisfaction. So it is not just what we do, it's also we need to share the mission. So if people do not have clear what is the mission, the shared vision of that, most of them tend to, leave work earlier. 31 are skipping university and opting for vocational path and apprenticeship. So here, educational settings also play a key role, since we are also providing vocational training to most of the population in Šiauliai and also in the academic world in the NEOLAiA Alliance. 48% feels financially insecure about 2025, with all reason. I mean, since we started, we have been talking about so many variables that are making right now a little bit unsettling the picture for the future, right? So, but then on the other side, we are facing that companies have a different reality in terms of DEI efforts are becoming more reactive. Whenever we face a very big issue, is that we go and we attend to the issue, but we don't try to consider this as part of the whole equation since the beginning of it all in our talent and culture strategy, so that we can think long term about how we are recruiting the people we are recruiting and how we can engage them and not retain them. And young people are penalized with salaries that are 45% lower. So by the way, this is also a sign of ageism in the workplace. It means some sort of discrimination based on age that has to do that not all people, because they are young, necessarily do not have the knowledge or the capacity to perform at a very good level. So not everything has to do with accreditation, since we already saw that there are non-traditional pathways to learning and to execution in the workplace. And intergenerational tensions, as I mentioned before, are part also of the systemic exclusion that senior talent are having. And it's also happening not only here, by the way, in Spain also is very unsettling the picture for people who are above 50 years old, who are struggling also to connect or still continue connected with the workplace after they have finished with their retirement. Let's say there are people who still would like to continue working because they want to feel useful to society, and they are still at that capability, at that stage of capability to continue contributing. So this is some of the landscapes that I have found throughout the research and also my work experience in this field. We are about to wrap up, but before we wrap up, I wanted just to leave you this part of a concept that has to do again with equality, equity, and inclusion. Because after all, when we talk about diversity, it's about representation. Yes, who we have in the room, who are they, where they come from, where did they study, what age do they have, are they single mothers, are they parents, are they people who are taking care of some family that is sick at home, or who they are. Yeah, but when it comes to equality, we are talking about that we are providing from the government the resources, yes, so that people can have access to, for example, job secure loans when they get out of job. Yeah, that it means equality. So it helps a lot at the individual level. But equity is more systemic. It's what we are actually looking forward to the future. Yes, so that we all can have access to the workplace regardless of who we are. Yes, because unfortunately, there is still some workplaces where this is a conversation we need to have, I'm telling you. And inclusion, that means that, okay, I have you all in the room, but do you feel that you are welcome here? Because it can also happen that we are saying, oh, we are so inclusive and we are diverse and we bring the Latino person or the Black American person or the person with disabilities, but then the environment is not prepared to receive those people. And what happens is that they face the discrimination and the rejection while being in the work. So that's also not the idea, or not what we are looking for. So to move forward, I just invite you all to think about that. As students, you're looking for jobs, and also as companies and governments, we need to consider that people just want to be trusted, that they want to also be able to perform at their best abilities. We can help them to achieve their goals and support them, not just ask them about what are your goals and leaving them alone. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, at least with this event that we are having right now, right here, to provide also some insights from the government, from companies, and also from academia, so that we can connect all the dots. on how we can continue contributing with the society, and also how we feel part of something bigger than ourselves and how we give them autonomy to solve difficult problems. So we do not need to negotiate who we are in order to perform at our best, of our abilities in any workplace. And I think Generation Zeta is very aware of that, so we need to prepare for that. Thank you, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Tatiana. Wow, 3 powerful messages, 3 powerful presentations. Thank you, all 3 of you. It was really good to hear for us all. So I would like to thank everyone who joined us here at the institution, and also for those who joined us online. Everything was recorded, and you will be able to follow the video that we will upload to our YouTube account. And this Focus Academy event is just the beginning of the new Focus Academy series. And over the upcoming months, the Focus Academy will offer more courses and activities. Today in Šiauliai, next time in Bielefeld in Germany. And these activities will be connecting our universities and communities across Europe. So together with through NEOLAiA, we are not just studying global competences, but we are also living them. So thank you very much again. It was really nice for you to join us during today's event. Focus Academy participants who will be joining the course, the academic course, you are welcome to join the link that you received to your emails in a couple of minutes. That will be at 3 o'clock in Lithuania's time. And for those of you who attended today, once again, thank you very much, and see you next time.
It was very interesting to listen to you. I already sent a picture of you to Baldiris. Great.
Thank you.
We would like to make a photo.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much.